Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went there? Maybe you stood there for a moment, looking around, trying to piece together what you needed, and then it hit you, or maybe it didn't. Now imagine that happening every single day. But you're 85 years old, and it feels like your mind is slowly, quietly slipping away from you, one forgotten moment at a time. For so many older adults, memory loss feels like watching your world blur in slow motion. It's like someone is gently dimming the lights in your mind, and you're desperately trying to keep them bright. You start forgetting names of people you've known for decades. You lose track of conversations mid-sentence. You find yourself staring at familiar faces, knowing you should recognize them, but the connection just isn't there anymore. I know this feeling intimately because I lived it. At 85, I was convinced my sharpest days were behind me. I'd accepted that fuzzy thinking and forgotten appointments were just part of getting older. But what if I told you that something as simple as one daily food, something you probably already have in your kitchen, helped bring my memory back from the edge? What if I told you that 5 ordinary foods, eaten consistently, helped me feel like myself again? Not some miracle cure or expensive supplement, but real, everyday foods that science has proven can support your brain in ways that might surprise you. In this video, I'm going to share exactly what I started eating at 85 that completely transformed my mental clarity. These aren't just foods I heard about, these are foods I lived with, tested, and experienced firsthand. By the end of our time together, you'll understand how just one small change in your daily routine might make a huge difference in your brain health or the brain health of someone you love. Comment "I'm here for better memory" if you're ready to take charge of your brain health, whether that's for yourself or someone precious to you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for Elder Wisdom, where we share weekly tips that truly make a difference in how we age and how we live. Number 1. Blueberries, the brain's little power bombs. When I first started forgetting birthdays, even my own grandson's 7th birthday, I knew something had to change. I remember sitting at my kitchen table, staring at my calendar, feeling this deep shame wash over me. How could I forget something so important? That's when I started reading everything I could get my hands on about memory and food. And that's when I discovered blueberries. Now, I'd always thought of blueberries as just a nice little fruit for pancakes or muffins. But it turns out, these tiny purple gems are like little power bombs for your brain. Blueberries are absolutely packed with compounds called flavonoids, specifically something called anthocyanins. These are the same compounds that give blueberries their deep, rich color. And here's what's incredible: study after study has shown that these anthocyanins can actually boost your memory, delay brain aging, and improve the way your brain cells talk to each other. Think about that for a moment. Your brain cells are constantly sending messages back and forth, like a telephone network. When that network starts breaking down, you get memory problems. But these little berries can help keep those phone lines clear and working properly. Most people think that only medications can restore memory, that once your mind starts slipping, you need to see a doctor and get a prescription. But here's what I learned. Nature has its own medicine. It just takes consistency and patience. You can't eat blueberries once and expect miracles. But if you eat them regularly, day after day, they become part of your brain's support system. Here's what I did, and what I recommend you try. Eat about half a cup of fresh or frozen blueberries every single day. Don't worry about fresh versus frozen. Frozen berries are just as powerful and often more affordable. I started adding them to my morning oatmeal, mixing them into plain yogurt, or even tossing a handful into my salads. The key is making them a daily habit, not an occasional treat. But blueberries weren't the only food that made a difference in my memory journey. I discovered another one that truly surprised me, and it's probably sitting in your pantry right now. Number 2. Walnuts, the brain-shaped miracle. One morning, my daughter came to visit and found me looking through old photo albums, trying to remember when certain pictures were taken. She sat down beside me, pulled out a small bag from her purse, and handed me a handful of walnuts. "Here, Mom," she said with a gentle smile. "These look like little brains. Maybe they'll help yours." We both laughed at the time, but you know what? She was absolutely right. I'd never really paid attention to walnuts before. They seemed like something you'd put in brownies or holiday cookies. But when I started researching brain-healthy foods, I discovered that walnuts are like little miracle workers for your mind. They're loaded with something called DHA, which is a type of omega-3 fatty acid that your brain absolutely needs to function properly. Here's what's fascinating. Your brain is actually made up of about 60% fat, but not just any fat. It needs specific healthy fats to build and maintain brain cells. When you don't get enough of these healthy fats, your brain literally starts to struggle. It's like trying to build a house with cheap materials. Everything starts falling apart. Study after study has shown that when older adults eat walnuts regularly, their cognitive performance improves. We're talking about better memory, clearer thinking, and sharper focus. And the amount you need isn't huge. Just a small handful can make a real difference. But here's where people get confused. They avoid nuts because they think they're too fatty, especially when they're trying to watch their weight. I understand that concern, but here's the truth. Healthy fats are exactly what your brain needs to thrive. Your brain doesn't need sugar or processed food. It needs real, wholesome fats that can build strong, healthy brain cells. What I started doing was simple. I ate 4 to 6 walnut halves every single day. Sometimes I'd add them to my morning cereal, sometimes I'd chop them up and sprinkle them on my salad, and sometimes I'd just eat them as an afternoon snack while reading. The key was consistency, making them a daily part of my routine. And if you think that's impressive, wait until you hear about this golden spice that's been used for centuries to support brain health. This one really opened my eyes to the power of everyday ingredients. Number 3. Turmeric, the golden memory booster. I'll be honest with you, I was always skeptical about spices doing anything meaningful for your health. I thought they were just for making food taste better. But when I started adding turmeric to my daily routine, I noticed something shifting in my mood and my ability to focus. It was subtle at first, like a gentle fog lifting from my mind. I started by adding a teaspoon of turmeric to my morning tea, creating what's called golden milk. It has this warm, earthy flavor that grows on you, and within a few weeks, I could feel a difference. My thoughts felt clearer during my daily crossword puzzles. I could follow TV shows better without losing track of the plot. It was like someone had turned up the brightness on my mental clarity. Here's the science behind it. Turmeric contains a powerful compound called curcumin, which has incredible anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Now, why does this matter for your brain? Well, as we age, our brains can become inflamed, just like any other part of our body. This inflammation can interfere with memory and thinking, but curcumin works like a gentle, natural anti-inflammatory specifically for your brain. Even more exciting, some research suggests that curcumin might help clear away the plaques in the brain that are associated with Alzheimer's disease. Now, I'm not saying turmeric is a cure for Alzheimer's. That would be irresponsible of me. But the research is promising, and for something as simple and safe as adding a spice to your daily routine, why not give your brain every advantage you can? Many people think turmeric only works if you take it as a supplement in those expensive capsules you see at the health food store. But real food sources can be just as effective if you use them regularly and consistently. The key is absorption. Your body needs to actually absorb the curcumin for it to work. Here's what I recommend. Try making golden milk. Take a cup of warm milk, dairy or non-dairy. whatever you prefer, and add a teaspoon of turmeric powder and a small pinch of black pepper. The black pepper is crucial because it helps your body absorb the curcumin much better. You can add a little honey if you like it sweeter. I started having this every evening, and it became a comforting ritual that I looked forward to. Next is something most people drink every single day, but they don't realize its incredible brain benefits. This discovery changed my entire morning routine. Number 4. Green tea. Focus in a cup. I used to be a coffee drinker, 3 cups a day, every day for decades. But after reading about green tea's benefits for brain health, I decided to make a switch. I'll admit, it wasn't easy at first. Coffee has that bold, familiar taste that wakes you up fast. But green tea, it's gentler, more subtle, and that gentleness turned out to be exactly what my brain needed. After just a few weeks of replacing my afternoon coffee with green tea, I noticed something remarkable during my daily crossword puzzle routine. I could focus better. My mind wasn't racing or jittery like it sometimes got with coffee. Instead, I felt calm but alert, like my brain was working at its optimal level. Here's what makes green tea so special for your brain. It contains a unique combination of L-theanine and a small amount of caffeine. Now, caffeine alone can make you feel jittery and anxious, especially as you get older. But L-theanine is like caffeine's gentle partner. It promotes alertness and focus without the jitters. Together, they create this perfect balance of calm alertness that's ideal for memory and concentration. Research has shown that this combination can actually improve memory and attention in older adults. It's like having a gentle, natural focus enhancer that doesn't make you feel wired or anxious. Instead, you feel present and clear-headed. Many people think green tea is only good for weight loss because that's how it's often marketed. But honestly, its brain benefits are far more impressive. Green tea is loaded with antioxidants called catechins, which help protect your brain cells from damage. As we age, our brain cells face constant stress from things like inflammation and free radicals. These antioxidants act like little bodyguards, protecting your brain cells so they can keep working properly. Here's how I incorporated green tea into my routine. I drink 1 to 2 cups a day. I have 1 cup in the morning instead of my 2nd cup of coffee, and another cup in the afternoon when I might have had a coffee break. I add a little honey for sweetness, and sometimes a squeeze of lemon, which actually adds even more antioxidants. The key is to let the tea steep for about 3 to 5 minutes to get the full benefit of those brain-healthy compounds. And don't worry if you don't love the taste right away. It's an acquired taste, but one that's absolutely worth developing. And finally, here's the one I consider my personal secret weapon. This tiny snack completely transformed my daily routine and my mental energy. Number 5. Pumpkin seeds. My secret snack. My memory comeback snack? Pumpkin seeds. I know, it sounds a little unusual, but hear me out. I started munching on a small handful of these tiny seeds every evening while watching my favorite TV shows. At first, it was just something to keep my hands busy, but after a few weeks, I realized something had changed. I wasn't losing track of plot lines anymore. I could follow conversations between characters without getting confused. It was like someone had fine-tuned my mental clarity. These tiny flat seeds might look insignificant, but they're absolute nutrient powerhouses, especially for your brain. They're packed with zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, all minerals that are crucial for proper brain signaling and preventing mental fatigue. Let me tell you why each of these minerals matters for your memory. Zinc is essential for communication between brain cells. When you're low on zinc, your brain cells struggle to send messages to each other properly. Magnesium helps regulate neurotransmitters, which are the chemical messengers in your brain. Iron carries oxygen to your brain cells, and without enough oxygen, your brain gets tired and foggy. Copper helps build neurotransmitters and protects your brain cells from damage. As we age, we often become deficient in these minerals without even realizing it. Maybe we eat less, or our bodies don't absorb nutrients as well as they used to. But these deficiencies can directly impact our memory and thinking ability. Most people completely skip seeds when they're thinking about healthy snacks. They think seeds are bird food, not people food. But honestly, they're missing out on one of nature's most concentrated sources of brain-healthy nutrients. A single tablespoon of pumpkin seeds gives you a significant amount of all these crucial minerals. Here's what I recommend: eat them roasted or raw, but try to find unsalted ones. Too much salt can actually interfere with brain function. Even just a spoonful daily can support your brain function. I keep a small container of them on my coffee table, and I'll grab a few while reading or watching TV. They have this pleasant, nutty flavor that's actually quite satisfying. You can also sprinkle them on salads, add them to your morning oatmeal, or even blend them into smoothies. The key is making them a regular part of your routine, not just an occasional snack. All 5 of these foods work together like magic in my daily routine, but it wasn't really magic, it was science, combined with consistency and, honestly, a deep love for myself and my future. Let me tell you something that might resonate with you or someone you love. Losing your memory doesn't just mean forgetting where you put your keys or struggling to remember a name. It feels like losing pieces of yourself, one forgotten moment at a time. I know this intimately because I was there. I was in that scary place where you question whether you're still you. There were mornings when I'd wake up and feel like I was swimming through fog, trying to grasp at memories that seemed to slip away the moment I reached for them. I'd sit in my kitchen, looking at family photos, and feel this deep sadness, knowing that some of those precious moments were becoming blurry in my mind. But here's what I learned during my journey back to mental clarity: we're not powerless. We're not victims of our age or our genetics. Yes, our brains change as we get older. That's natural and normal, but we have more control than we think. We can choose to nourish our minds with the right foods, the right habits, and the right mindset. It's not about turning back the clock or trying to have the same brain you had at 30. That's not realistic, and honestly, it's not even the goal. It's about giving your brain the support it needs to function as well as possible, with gentle, daily choices that add up to significant changes over time. You don't need fancy pills that cost hundreds of dollars. You don't need expensive programs or complicated routines. You just need commitment, patience, and hope. Hope that small changes can make a real difference. Hope that it's never too late to start caring for your brain in new ways. If you're struggling with memory issues, or if you're watching someone you love go through this frightening experience, I want you to know that you can start today, right now. Take just one of these tips. Maybe it's adding blueberries to your breakfast, or having a cup of green tea instead of that 3rd cup of coffee. Just one small change. That's exactly how my journey began. I didn't overhaul my entire diet overnight. I didn't make dramatic changes that were impossible to maintain. I started with one food, then gradually added another, then another. Each small step built on the last one, creating a foundation of brain-healthy habits that became as natural as brushing my teeth. And here's something that might surprise you: even at 85, your brain is still listening. Your brain cells are still capable of forming new connections, still capable of healing and strengthening. You just have to feed them what they've been starving for: real, nourishing foods that support brain health from the inside out. Let me recap the 5 memory-boosting foods I shared with you today, because I want you to remember them clearly. First, we have blueberries, those little purple power bombs packed with anthocyanins that help your brain cells communicate better. Second, walnuts, the brain-shaped miracle nuts full of DHA that actually builds healthy brain tissue. Third, turmeric, the golden spice with curcumin that fights brain inflammation and may help clear harmful plaques. Fourth, green tea, focus in a cup, with its perfect balance of L-theanine and caffeine for calm alertness. And finally, pumpkin seeds, my secret snack loaded with zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper for optimal brain signaling. Each one of these foods played a role in helping me feel like myself again. They didn't work overnight, and they didn't work like magic. They worked because I was consistent, because I made them part of my daily routine, and because I believed that small changes could add up to significant improvements in my brain health. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these foods have you tried before? Are there any that you're planning to add to your daily routine? Maybe you've been eating walnuts for years without realizing their brain benefits. Or perhaps you're excited to try golden milk with turmeric. Share your story in the comments below. Let's create a community where we inspire and support each other on this journey to better brain health. If you're caring for someone with memory issues, tell us about that too. What changes have you noticed when they eat certain foods? What challenges are you facing? We're all in this together, and your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If you found this video helpful, if it gave you hope or practical tips you can actually use, I'd be grateful if you'd subscribe to Elder Wisdom. We're here to share gentle, honest, research-based tips on aging well. This isn't about fighting aging or pretending we're not getting older. It's about aging with grace, dignity, and the best possible quality of life. Every week, we explore topics that matter to people like us, people who want to stay sharp, stay healthy, and stay connected to the things and people we love. We talk about nutrition, exercise, mental health, relationships, and all the real challenges and joys of getting older. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for caring about your brain health, whether that's for yourself or for someone precious to you. Stay curious about what your body needs. Stay kind to yourself as you make these changes. And remember, every new day is a fresh chance to care for your mind in ways that honor who you are and who you're becoming. Your brain has carried you through decades of life, through challenges and celebrations, through learning and growing. It deserves your care and attention. And with the right foods, the right habits, and the right mindset, it can continue to serve you well for years to come. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll explore more ways to support your health and well-being as you age. Until then, take care of yourself, and remember, you're never too old to start taking better care of your brain.